Hello, I'm Andy Brassel, European football writer, and I'm here in Athens for the derby of the eternal enemies between Panathinaikos and Olympiakos.
It's not just a case of going and enjoying their team against the rivals. There's a hatred there.
Football is a place, an area where everybody can go and take out his problems.
You run out and you know that every fan in that stadium is against you.
Now, being at this occasion might make you think that Greek football is thriving, but everything's not quite what it seems on the surface.
The economic crisis has affected a lot in every terms of the life.
There are a lot of poor stadiums here. That's not even up for debate.
It's a problem for all Greece.
That's why they've cut the league from 18 to 16, because I think the 18 there was probably a few teams in there where they were that far away from Super League football that they had to cut it.
During the crisis, have the Hellenic Football Federation done anything to help the clubs?
Not at all. The Hellenic Football Federation is a corrupt organization.
The only way that the federation is getting involved in the whole football thing, at least at the high level, is through the refereeing. And the refereeing has been abysmal.
It often feels like top-level football lives in a bubble of its own, immune to changes in the real world around it. But that's not the case here in Greece, where the economic crisis is so deep and so profound that it's even seeped through into the national game. Unforgettably, the winners of Euro 2004, of course, Greece have struggled of late, losing to the likes of the Faroe Islands and Luxembourg. But it's off the pitch where Greek football really faces an uncertain future.
The last few years, because of the financial situation, you see less people at games, you see more trouble at games. The last 3 or 4 years in particular, there's been so many cases. I mean, last season, the league was stopped 3 times because of violence. Greece is up there in the top 10 leagues of where they advise players not to go to.
It is unacceptable, all these incidents. We don't want this. When we have the first incident, you make an announcement, and then on the second incident, you stop the game.
We should be sat here now talking about one of the matches of the Greek Super League season, but the Athens derby never happened, abandoned before a ball was kicked after visiting player Alfred Finnbogason was hit by a flare. The ensuing clashes between police and home fans laid bare a lot of the tensions and problems that exist currently in Greek football.
Everybody's chasing the same dream now, like the Champions League. If you've got a chance of being in the Champions League, you know, the money, the benefits and the reward for that is so huge. Teams throw loads of cash at the chance of that, and when it doesn't go to plan, you know, it's difficult to then back it up 2, 3, 4 years down the line. You know, in Greece, only one team goes to the Champions League direct. That first title is vital.
Fans of Panathinaikos are very disappointed with the whole situation in Greece the last year, because Olympiakos has influence in federations, in government, in everything, and every year is the champion, wins the championship.
Olympiakos has an amazing amount of money that can buy a lot of players, that can prepare everything that the club wants, while Panathinaikos has a president who is partly supported from the fans.
They've won the league 6 times on the trot, so they've got the Champions League money 6 times on the trot.
It's 30 million versus 10, I don't know, that kind of gap.
We're going to see more of the same, unfortunately, for the next couple of years, but I'd like to think in the long run, maybe 3 to 5 years, that things could slightly improve if we get the top flight a bit more competitive, and Panathinaikos, AEK Athens and PAOK can challenge Olympiakos.
Panathinaikos are one of the biggest names in Greek football history. They've won 20 Super League titles and became the only Greek club ever to reach a major European final in 1971. But fast forward on 40 years from that, and they were facing financial ruin after a spell of overspending, until in 2012 the Panathinaikos Alliance was formed and stepped in to make them Europe's biggest supporter-run club.
All Panathinaikos fans, in my opinion, have to learn that Panathinaikos is in their hands and they have a say. Everybody can contribute and everybody can actually participate on the decisions. The Alliance, in my opinion, is a step forward for a new modern way of thinking in football, but in sports in general.
The study last year by Sporting Intelligence had Greece as the 21st highest paying league in the world, behind Scotland, Austria and Denmark. And as the spectre of Greece's potential exit from the European Union loomed last summer, local media was full of stories of overseas players looking to renegotiate and protect their Euro paying contracts.
There's been a lot of players and a lot of stories about people not getting paid And even players we have now have told me stories about previous club and they've not been paid on time, and it's taken sometimes up to a year and a half to get money they're owed.
We had two teams last year who had to relegate themselves because of finances, and players walking out of the club because they haven't been paid for 6 months.
When a team was declaring bankruptcy and was relegating to the amateur leagues, all the players essentially were losing their money. Now we have managed to diversify this regulation. We managed to accomplish towards all of our members a very strong insurance contract.
Because the rules aren't so strict with the policing and the courts, this is what I'm to believe. The temptation not to pay your players on time and things like that, I think it's a lot easier and a lot more lenient.
When they are having a new agreement with a particular team, the particular team is obliged to create a bank account.
Everybody has a Greek account with the same bank, and it's the normal situation. The only problem I had was after the first year in the summer, the crisis broke out further, and then there became restrictions on the banks.
They can take like 420 euros every week.
And you can't move money across to England so easy, but it's not really affected me so much.
There are not many complaints concerning the circumstances that they play the game in Greece.
It's definitely the best decision I've made football-wise in my career.
One of the capital's other giants, AEK, have just returned to the top flight after being relegated to the third tier in 2013 following financial problems. And further north, here in Thessaloniki, Aris FC took the same fall a year later. Now they're trying to battle their way back to the top, but unlike Panathinaikos, they're moving away from the fan ownership model.
As the financial crisis hit Greece, no club, including Aris, was prepared for this.
It's been a very difficult situation. The last 10 years, Aris had a lot of financial problems. The club had about 25-30 million euro of debts, so there was no way the club could remain in the first division.
The supporters are very influential. The only problem is that this influence, this involvement is not structured.
You need professionals, you need technocrats, you need a lot of money, and fans don't have all these abilities to keep on running the club.
All clubs in Greece are at least 10% owned by the fans. We've got these parent organizations that own the clubs by 10% and they appoint one person on the board.
We have to bear in mind that there are problems, which we have to fix them.
El estadio, ¿no? Nosotros jugábamos cada partido aquí con 25.000 personas. Hoy no sé si habría 8.000, no sé cuánta gente, pero igualmente para estar en una categoría tan baja hay que agradecer al público que venga a ver al equipo, porque no es fácil, ¿no? Ver a tu equipo en tercera división.
You do feel like you owe them something, and when they do go, when they erupt and they sing and they make the noise that they do, there's nothing better.
Because of the economic crisis, people are getting more attached to their teams because they don't get happiness from many sources.
People who are in financial difficulty, or even people watching it on TV, they look forward to something, and it must give a lot of people a boost.
Football is mostly about the heart. It's not about money and everything else.
The feeling of the game is always the game. If you are in there, then nothing else is more important than that.
So even if there's precedent for coming back from the brink, the idea of a truly competitive Super League here in Greece seems like a pipe dream at the moment. Money is a factor, of course, but disunity amongst the clubs and a lack of leadership are also major factors in holding back Greek football.